Thank you very much for that. As my mom was mentioned earlier, the eldest of the third generation, we will now have a few words from the youngest of that generation, Jenny Benitez, who is based in New York.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and good morning from Charleston, South Carolina. I relocated from New York pre-COVID. As Freddie said, I'm the youngest grandchild and first cousin of Amelou, Jolie, Maritza, and Noel. Sibling of Conrad, Rosary, Bebet, Lika, Sunny, Betty, Willie, and Jet. As I read and listened to the accounts of my cousin Amelou's professional achievements, I realized that her personal relationship with me, she too was that genial social worker, educator, supporter, and advocate for the woman's right to shape the life she dreams of having. Cousin Amelou was the oldest, and I, the youngest grandchildren of Lola Francisca and Lolo Conrado Benitez. It was inevitable that she would seek to inspire me and I would accept some ideas on various aspects of a woman's existence. I have remained deeply committed to the world of women and the social work necessary for them to achieve full equality and full opportunity. I have no doubt this was part of Amelou's influence in her advocacies and social work. Amelou had instinctive empathy for the young bereft. When my dad passed away when I was 9 years old, she exerted effort to be generous and kind to me. She included me in her outings with her own family. And thank you, Marilyn, for that wonderful picture you posted on Facebook to show us, to jog my memories of the 70s and the happy memories we shared in the beach, Matabungkay, and in Dasmariñas, in Tita Lulu's house, and everywhere we went, PWU. The last time I saw Amelou, which was about 5 years ago, she asked me and my partner, Jeanette, over for her residence for merienda. This was a way of rolling back the years to the time when we had done the same. We had many, many meals in Miranila with our families, and I will never forget all the loving kindness that she had extended to me. Because she insisted the concept of her story in an official document of the UN Commission on the Status of Women, we can honor women's accomplishments, not the least what she had achieved. Amelou may have inherited part of the legacy of Philippine Women's University, but she expanded her share of it in another chapter, representing both her country and PWU at international conventions. I may not have agreed with her in some family issues, but she was a well-respected woman with a life well lived. So, paalam pinsan, I hope to pay forward your kindness to your grandchildren and all the younger generations from us. Thank you, Freddie.
Thank you for that, Jenny. And now the second youngest of that generation, Jet Benitez, who's based in Colorado, will give us a few words.
Thank you, Freddie. So I have a very fond memory of Amelou. The first time I came to the US was in 1977. So I landed in San Francisco, and at that time, Amelou was in Stanford. She had sent her family back to the Philippines already, but she still had her apartment. She picked me up in the airport, and she endeavored to show me life in America. Before that, of course, I only dreamed of the things I was seeing, but she drove me to places like Carmel, the Pacific Coast Highway, Monterey. I remember specifically there was a restaurant in Monterey. We had eaten there. maybe seafood. And on my way out, I saw a vending machine. And of course, this vending machine we didn't have in the Philippines. This was a vending machine for cigarettes, Blue Seal cigarettes. So, of course, I had to get the Blue Seal cigarette. I smoked occasionally, but wow, I didn't have to go to Makati Avenue. I was actually there. There was Blue Seal cigarettes. So Amilu lent me the proper change. I got my cigarettes. And the kindness she showed me during that trip, it was just wonderful. Being Filipino and being me, not knowing my directions very well, she lived on a street that had, it was east, west, and something. She lived in Palo Alto. One evening, I decided I'd go for a walk, and I went out and knew her address. And before I knew it, I was lost. And I couldn't figure out how to get back. It took me hours and hours. Finally, I got back to her apartment. She goes, Jet, what happened to you? I said, I don't know. It told me east and west. I had no idea. Wala pang Google noon. Walang Google Maps. So anyway, she was laughing. Her sense of humor was amazing. I helped her drive her car. She had a Volkswagen station wagon, maybe. And I drove it with her to the pier. Uh, and she must have driven another car. So I was really there to help her pack up her life, her student life in America. But I will always remember her kindness and generosity. Like Jenny, since we were close in age to her children, Freddie, Martin, Marlene, Alex, we were included in we know about your Lola Pina and your Lola Shady Lane, and we went to those places. I don't know, that brings back memories to you. I met your Reyes cousins. It's just a wonderful childhood growing up. And as you see in my background, Matabungkay, of course. I remember Freddie, Martin, and we loved playing with marbles. And we play marbles everywhere. Matabungkay, it was a little harder because you'd get the sand in your fingers and you get bloody fingers. We played in Dasmariñas village when they first moved there, and there was a big dirt like backlot in Freddie and Martin's and Marlene's house and Alex's house. That was perfect. Less than perfect was Miranila. So we would be there trying to dig little Jolens holes in the carpet. And of course, Lola Francisca didn't like that. And Amilu came by. I guess she was on her way to the bathroom. She peered in. And rather than reprimanding us, she just laughed. She said, alak kayo. Makita kayo ni Lola Francisca. But of course, she didn't squeal on us. But I will always remember her kindness, her generosity, and her love for, other people. It's just remarkable. I'm sorry for your loss, Freddie, Martin, family, Marlene, Alex, and your families. But your mom, your granny will live on in all of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Jet. Uh, so there's a bunch of words there that I don't think our kids will ever be able to relate to. Blue Seal and Jolens or Olens and all those things that we used to play before all these gadgets that we now are glued to on a daily basis. So we'll move to the other side of the family where